Another one. Another mass shooting. You know, I'm losing count on how many mass shootings are happening here in the US. Because in the US, mass shootings just happen all the time, all the time, all the time. I mean, you look at other countries. I mean, yeah, mass shootings happen in those other countries because they got strict gun laws. But they don't happen all the time like they do here. Yeah. I mean, this is in the developed world. This is the United States is the only country that has the most mass shootings than any other country in the world. It's like, I think this country deserves an award for having the most mass shootings in the world. I remember someone commented on a video on this YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, told me I have a speech problem. Well, I'm going to say this to America or the United States of America. You have a gun problem. You have a very, very nasty gun problem. You do. You need help, America. You need help. You need help. So, okay. We had a mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. Had a mass shooting down here in Texas, where I'm living at, in a city or a small town or a tiny one-horse town called Uvalde. Now this. Someone in Tulsa, Oklahoma shot a surgeon because he's upset and blaming a surgeon blamed him for his back pains. Shit, I can't talk. Yeah, ugh. Blamed him for his back pains. The gunman blamed the surgeon for his back pains. So he shot him and killed him. So, let me read this. So let me get into this insane story. This insane, tragic, fucked up story. Okay. I'm on the Associated News from the Associated Press. It's a post by the Associated Press, and it's titled, "Police, Tulsa Gunman Targeted Surgeon He Blamed for Pain." And it reads, "A gunman who killed his surgeon and 3 other people at a Tulsa medical office blamed the doctor for his continuing pain after a recent back operation and brought an AR-style rifle just hours before the rampage," the police said Thursday. The patient called the clinic repeatedly complaining of pain and specifically targeted the doctor who performed the surgery, then killed himself as police arrived. Tulsa Police Chief Wendell Franklin said that physician, Dr. Patterson Phillips, was killed Wednesday along with Dr. Stephanie Hansen, receptionist Amanda Glenn, and visitor William Love, police said. The attack occurred on the campus of St. Francis Health System in Tulsa. The chief identified the shooter as Michael Lewis, 45, of Muskogee, Oklahoma. It was the latest in a series of mass shootings in the United States, including the deadly school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, and an attack on a supermarket in Buffalo, New York. The recent Memorial Day weekend saw multiple mass shootings nationwide, including at an outdoor festival in Taft, Oklahoma, 45 miles, 75 kilometers from Tulsa, even as single death incidents accounted for the most gun fatalities. Okay, so this guy shot a receptionist and two doctors at a hospital in Tulsa because of a surgery one of the doctors performed on him that led him to back pains. You know, I hear a lot of cookie cutter arguments here in the United States. And I think I said this in a previous video. You got people saying, oh, it's the violent video games that's making these people, just making these mass shooters do what they do because they were alone and quiet and shy and they were socially awkward. And what else? You think of, yeah, he just lost it all of a sudden. We didn't do anything to him and all this crap. I hear a lot of lame cookie cutter arguments and delusional bullshit here in the US from brain dead delusional Americans. Some Americans said, oh, these mass shooters, they're crazy. There's something wrong with them. They're crazy. They're crazy. They're crazy. I'm the only American that has a brain. And I see things that these crazy people here in the States, natural born Americans who have red, white, and blue running through their veins. I'm aware of these mass shootings and why they are happening. But if I tell someone why these mass shootings are happening, they'll dismiss me as crazy, they'll ignore me and say what I'm saying to them is absolutely ridiculous. Well, I'm going to tell you what the problem is behind these mass shootings. And I'm going to say it. A lack of gun control. Loose, lax gun laws. You got those loose, lax gun laws. Too many guns. Way too many guns. Because you got a lot of gun nuts who bring up the Second Amendment. Oh, we have the right to bear arms. Yeah. If you bring in gun control and we be like those countries like Australia and the UK, they'll disarm us and crime will go up. You got that. You got corrupt politicians in Washington and a president who looks like he belongs in a fucking nursing home. He has cognitive decline. He's a corrupt corporate neoliberal Democrat, just like nearly every Democrat in the Democratic Party. Got corrupt politicians from both parties, Democrat and Republicans. Democrats and Republicans are both corrupt. What else you have? People who become mass shooters. You know, some of them are, you know, are racist, white supremacists. You got ones who aren't mentally ill, who don't have a mental illness, develop one through being, you know, when they were younger, they were picked on badly at school, bullied, made fun of, harassed, picked on, laughed at, made fun of. They feel isolated and alone when they grow up, become teenagers, from kids to teenagers, and they feel alone because, you know, they want love from a woman. The woman can't. They want love from a girl. The girl ignores him. Think that he's socially awkward. He's a nerd. He's just shy and quiet. He's been tortured and shit on by people who pick on him and treat him like dirt. And he was treated badly by his parents. And you got a shitty society of people who say a lot of toxicity things to other people that will drive someone who will develop a mental illness, who feel shut out and ignored and put in the dark and just being treated unfairly. And they won't love and their country won't give them love, so they just blow up and morph into a mass shooter. Yeah. And you know, I heard a guy from Canada and said this. Do you think quiet and shy guys don't exist in other countries? People with mental illness doesn't exist in other countries? And he's right. They exist in other countries. But the truth behind that, those people who have the same problems as mass shooters, well, would-be mass shooters have in this country, they don't have easy access to guns, you know, and even though their society is kind of toxic or less toxic, they can blow it off and move on with their lives, and they can break out of what they're in, and they can do it. Some can do it, some can't. But here in the U.S., it's impossible. So, you know, after what I just said, I mean, I'll probably be viewed as a nutcase. But I don't give a shit. Because, you know, I'm not one of these crazy people here in the U.S. running around completely clueless, running around with their heads cut off, running around like crazy chickens with their heads cut off. You know, and yeah, and it's, you know, and I don't want to get political, but you know, you got progressive people like Kyle Kulinski, David Dole, here on YouTube, talking about gun control. Won't bring gun control in. And David Dole, well, he's not an American. He's a Canadian. He runs the channel, The Rational National, and Kyle Kulinski runs the channel, Secular Talk, which is on YouTube. I sub to both of these guys. Yeah, I don't know what to say. And there's nothing else. There's nothing to say. These mass shootings are going to continue to happen. They're going to continue to happen. Because everybody's divided in this country because everybody doesn't want the same thing. You got corrupt politicians from both parties who don't give a living shit about anybody. They don't care about ordinary poor people who are struggling in this country. They don't care. All they care about is the wealthy and corporations. That's who they care about. They care about Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and the 6 Aarons of Walmart, the Walton family, the children of Sam Walton. They care about those people, but don't give a shit about ordinary, normal, everyday people like myself. They don't care. And yeah, you got these independent media news outlet. You got these independent news media people online here on YouTube, like TYT, the Humanist Report, Secular Talk, and the Rational National. You got some progressive politicians like AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I can't pronounce her name, Nina Turner, Bernie Sanders. You got these people, Bernie Sanders is a politician in Washington. He's independent. He's not in any political party. He's an independent. So, yeah, these people want a lot of changes. These people want change in this country. They want things to be better for the normal average American. But, I don't see that happening. I want that to happen, but, it's not going to happen. But, these people are trying. They're trying to swing the pendulum. They're trying to make it swing the right way, but yeah. Well, yeah, going back to these mass shootings. I mean, I see how people are reacting in other countries, seeing how the U.S. is with their mass shooting / gun problem. I don't know how they feel. So I guess I'm assuming, some of them are shocked. Some of them are angry. Some are sad. Then you got some who just don't give a shit. And the ones who don't give a shit think America's great. I heard some British jerk off in the UK said this to me. If you live in the United Kingdom, your quality of life is shit. And you're enjoying all the freedoms, all the good things here in the United States. You fog breathing, Union Jack waving, God Save the Queen singing motherfucker. You have no clue of how bad it is here. And yeah, a lot of people say that other countries, who live in other countries, they say other countries are bad. They're not far from perfect. Yes, I get that. They have their problems. But they don't have the gun problem that the U.S. has. So, I'm not going to bash any, I'm not going to sit here and bash other countries. Because, some of those countries, aren't well developed, aren't civilized, like North Korea and China, for instance. I'm looking at North Korea, and it's sad, Kim Jong Il is treating his people like dirt and starving his people to death. Okay, I found something more. I found something else. Excuse me. Damn, I can't talk. Okay, I found something on the Associated Press, and it's about Canada, on how they're dealing with gun laws. And it reads, and it's titled, Canada to cap the market for handguns with new law. Okay, Toronto. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government introduced legislation Monday that would put a freeze on importing, buying, or selling handguns. We are capping the number of handguns in this country, Trudeau said. The regulations to halt the growth of personally owned handguns is expected to be enacted this fall. It will be illegal to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada, the Prime Minister said. Families of shooting victims joined him at a press conference in Ottawa. Canada already has plans to ban 1,500 types of military-style firearms and offer a mandatory buyback program that will begin at the end of the year. Trudeau said if someone really wants to keep their assault weapon, it will be made completely inoperable. Canada already expanded background checks. Trudeau has long had plans to enact tougher gun laws, but the introduction of the new measure comes after mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas, and Buffalo, New York this month. Yeah, I think that's back in May last month. So yeah, so Canada got it right on when it comes to dealing with guns and mass shootings. This is something, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, should be doing. But Joe Biden, politicians from both parties, they're corrupt. They're not going to do this. And yeah, I'm no fan of Justin Trudeau, even though I don't live in Canada. I've been watching, stuff about Canada on YouTube, from news outlets like Global News, the CBC, and CTV. That's up in Canada, and there's nothing good about Justin Trudeau. Even though I'm not a fan of Justin Trudeau, seeing what he's doing in Canada, what he's doing is pretty smart, but I got a problem with that, and David Dole of the Rational National pointed this out. He's saying that it's kind of weird that Justin Trudeau is doing something like this after two mass shootings that happened here in the U.S. And it's weird. He says that it's weird that Canada reacts to what the U.S. is doing. I'm going to say this. I think I'm not trying to bash Canada, even though that country sucks. That's another. I'm not going to go into that. Um, I like Canada. There's some things I like about that country. There's some things I don't like about that country. And I've been to that country, by the way. The only part of Canada that I ever been to was Victoria, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island. Okay. Yeah. On the on the tougher gun laws that the PM introduced into Canada's stricter gun laws. It's smart and it makes sense, but I don't think these gun nuts here in America won't like the mandatory buyback program where they have to give up their guns. They don't want to give up their guns. The guns that the guns that these gun nuts have are family heirlooms. They have a shit ton of guns. I mean, they are swimming in guns and bullets. They love guns. They go to gun shows. They're gun nuts. And they always, in Canada, they don't have like, they don't have this thing called the right to bear arms in that country. Like it is here in the US. Well, the United States, they can learn a lot from other countries when it comes to gun laws, but you got these gun nuts who are pro guns don't want to do that. Some of these gun nuts, they talk about other countries on their gun laws and they on what they do on guns, and they just bash them. Say it's ridiculous and it's a pain in the ass. And these gun nuts, they're just too stupid to see that, lax gun laws is making it easier for people with a mental illness and a criminal record to get a gun. They just don't see that, and I'm not for people getting their guns taken away. Yeah, you can have a gun as long as you don't have a mental illness, as long as you don't have a criminal record. In Canada, they just had this thing. You just use a gun to do target practicing, hunting. And it's hard to get a gun in countries like Canada, Australia. You have to take a safety course and learn how to handle a gun. Something that the U.S. needs, but I'm going to say this before I end this video. When it comes to guns and healthcare, the minimum wage, a work-life balance, quality of life, and less toxic people, the old world got it right, and the new world got it wrong. Every other country except the United States got it right. And in the United States, people in the U.S., conservatives, no matter who they are, they have no right to criticize and bash every other country and ignore their country's gun problems and crappy quality of life. Here's some more phrases from pro-gun nuts, conservative pro-gun nuts. You look at countries like Australia and the United Kingdom. They have these gun laws where their guns are being taken away and they're disarmed. If we have something like this in the U.S., we'll be disarmed and crime will go up and murders will go up. I mean, your families will be murdered. Your wife will be raped. It will be bad. Crime will go up. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, a lot of stuff, you know. Yeah, as long as we have people like this here in the U.S. and people who are for guns and bringing the Second Amendment of the Constitution, the right to bear arms, and yeah, some people in this country who want gun control, want the ban of assault rifles. You have that division going, nothing will happen, and you throw in, you know, politicians from both parties, politicians in Washington and governors, conservative governors in conservative states will be for the status quo, and they'll just be for their corporate donors and not for regular ordinary people. So, yeah, so that's going to continue to happen because I'm looking at Joe Biden. He's not gonna do what Justin Trudeau is doing. Even though I don't like Trudeau, and he's screwing his people in Canada on certain things. On certain things, you know, I don't know, but even though Justin Trudeau weirdly came out and introduced a new gun law for Canada's strict gun control laws. Justin Trudeau brought that in. I mean that's something Joe Biden should be doing, but no, he's not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So, yeah. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Au revoir.